Hi YouTubers, there's another video from your friendly neighborhood reviewer Evelyn. I did a YouTube short about this new Korean crime drama series, The Worst of Evil. You can find this on Disney+. I'm going to expand more of my thoughts about this series. I've seen up to episode 5 so far. So it's very easy to understand. The unique selling point of this series is the two male leading actors of chang-Wook and Ha-joon. We last saw Ha-joon playing as the other personality in Bad and Crazy with Lee-dong-wook. We can see that was when I saw more his acting, but when I saw Ha-joon praising himself as a serial killer in the film Midnight. And chang-Wook, last time I saw him was Wish Upon a Star, like a kind of like slice of life kind of drama about the troubles of growing up and understanding about your past, that sort of thing. Now let me tell you about the series. It's very good. It leaves you with, twists and turns that leaves you on the edge. So the premise is, chang-Wook is the detective of a lower rank. He's married to his wife who's also a detective by higher rank than him. We see chang-Wook's character as a detective that hasn't got much prospects because the series set in the early 90s in Korea, and he's talking about, I don't know how factual this is, I have no idea if this is really based on true facts, apparently between the gangs and the Korean gang talking with the Japanese Yakuza, I assume, or the mafia in Japan, about exchanging drugs going from one country to another. So Ha-joon's character, we see how he climbs to be the leader of the gang by overthrowing the previous gang in Gangnam. Now, before me learning Korean, the first exposure I had to any Korean kind of like culture was side with the Gangnam style. I had no idea what it was about, and I had no idea what Gangnam was. Now I come to find out it's a town, a place in Seoul, from what I gather, in which Ha-joon's character, the gang leader of Jung Ki-chul, he rises up with his own people and ends up taking the other gang, but not without casualties. Ha-joon's character, his right-hand man, who he considered like a brother, gets killed by the leader of the other gang that they've taken over, and Ha-joon's character of Jung Ki-chul goes and stabs the guy and he's gone. Flash forward, we see that the Japanese police have gone to Korea to speak with the Korean police about the situation with the drugs, and they kind of tell the Korean police that they want to work together. And then we find out the only way to work together is to have a police detective to work undercover in Ha-joon's gang. And one of the guys there says, I think I know the right man. And then we get introduced to chang-Wook's character of Park Jung-mo. We see that he's not treated well by his wife's family and he's not promoted. It gets revealed in the episodes the reason he's not promoted, his dad, I don't know if he's dead or not, is a drug addict. Now, before everybody starts saying, okay, well, there should be no reason for discrimination, early 90s, I don't know what's the cultural preferences there, but we can clearly see that it doesn't matter if you're not following the same thing as your dad, or you're a better person, or you're trying to be a better person in the police, they discriminate you as, your family lineage is not that great. I'm not going to sit here and debate about whether it's right or wrong, it's just the cultural part of the times, because of course, not every child grows up to be like their parent. And on the top of that, of chang-Wook's character, he's belittled by his wife's family. So when they come to him with this offer of him going undercover in Jung Ki-chul's gang, he takes some time to think about it, because imagine the implications. You're going into the gang and your life's in danger. If they find out that you're really undercover police officer, you're gone. But after thinking about it some time and seeing the family portrait of himself and his wife in their police uniforms, he goes back to the one guy that he knows that went and offered him this, and the other detective that's on the case, of maybe a chief, lieutenant, whatever. He says, I'll do it in one condition. You put me up 2 ranks. And they look at him and they say, okay. Now the big downfall here is Park Jung-mo, he needs to realize that it's not gonna be as easy as you think it is, and how much is it worth it to go undercover for ranks, because of course in that time having a high prestige is everything. It's still right now, but I guess culturally in the early 90s it was even more intense, even now. But then again, the part of this series that would not make sense, but sometimes doesn't make sense. Park Jung-mo, he's married to the first love of the gang leader of Ha-joon, of Jung Ki-chul. Like, just me thinking about the names, just get a little confused. Now, if chang-Wook's character is married to the first love of the gang leader, what are the coincidences that all three people are connected together. So the wife's name is Yoo-jung. Oh, and I haven't seen this actress before, so she's left in the middle. She doesn't know at first that her husband has decided to go undercover, only when she goes and calls the police station where he is, like on some kind of like general thing, or you know, is my husband okay, or like is he going here or there? She goes and finds out that her husband's undercover in the gang led by Young Ki-chul. You see, missing the laptop here. Now, what a coincidence that detective is married to the first love of the gang leader, and as the episodes progress, the wife realizes that she's going to need to help her husband to get out from the gang, because of course she's horrified. She's horrified that her husband has got into a dangerous situation. Now, the best thing about this series is I hate suspense, because at one moment is Jang Ji-wook's character going to be exposed to the gang that he's really undercover cop. So he gets successfully into the gang through the guise of pretending to be the cousin of Taeho, the boy that died at the beginning of the first episode, and he starts that way. And of course, without him knowing, there was an ambush with Wee Ha-joon and Jang Ji-wook in the episode, and Jang Ji-wook goes and saves Wee Ha-joon. Well, he almost dies. Literally, he gets and because it was a kind of ambush between another gang, and Ji Jang-wook goes and saves the other guy without almost dying with the big machete on his back. So from that point on, the character that Wee Ha-joon plays, he starts to trust more with the other guy. And what seals the fact is he finds out that Ji Jang-wook knows his first love. Now, that was a bit of a surprise, because Wee Ha-joon, the character, he goes and tries to do background checks on Ji Jang-wook's character, but in that time there was no Photoshop, computers, none of that, so they can go and like change the name of who the wife is married to, like the picture, to somebody else, in which kind of saves Ji Jang-wook's, back. But inexplicably, in the most kind of heart-wrenching way, in the later episodes, Ji Jang-wook finds out that his mother-in-law is dead, and of course he really loved his mother-in-law because she was the only one that treated him nice, apart from all the other family members. And in that moment, he's put in a really awkward position of that he can't pay his respects. And on top of that, he ends up becoming more friendly with Wee Ha-joon, like the gang leader of Young Ki-chul. But in the midst of doing all of that, Young Ki-chul tells Ji Jang-wook's character, I'll help you become successful, because it was having a drinking session in that particular scene. But the only thing I want you to do is help me become closer to Woo-jung. So Wee Ha-joon wants to get closer to Ji Jang-wook's wife, because that's the first love. They made up some lie that she was like now divorced with Park Jung-moon, which surprised Ji Jang-wook while he's driving in the car. The most tension is Ji Jang-wook is like now the bodyguard for Wee Ha-joon. He's there in the front seat. There's his wife there with the gang leader, and they're talking about getting close and all of that. And he has to literally eat crap and say, okay, I'll promise to do that. How this series gonna end? Oh my god, I have no idea, because the beginning of episode 1, it was that flash forward of this great battle between the gangs. It's very interesting. All the scenes have so much tension, and we can see the dilemma of Ji Jang-wook's character, that he wants to be successful, but then again, that is going to really hinder him. Anyway, this is the end. This is my review so much. The only part which is a bit unbelievable is just the coincidence that all three people inadvertently know each other. But anyway, this is the end of the video. If you reached the end, a big thank you. To any new viewers, I really appreciate it. You can hit the subscribe button. Leave your comments down below. And as I leave you always,